Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about clerics and and a very sharp reality of the Dungeons and Dragons world, which is, let's go there. Dungeons and Dragons, the world of Dungeons and Dragons, is fundamentally religious. Fundamentally religious. All right, let's get into this, and it's a huge problem for the game as they approach 6th edition, and it's a huge problem for the game in the modern world. All right, and I think it's going to be a big design element point as it goes forward. So let's talk about this. All right, so I've been thinking, I've been thinking about the Dungeons and Dragons world. Just so you're aware, like half my brain is taken up with Dungeons and Dragons every minute of the day. Like, it's just like I think about Dungeons and Dragons all the time, and like from every aspect of it. Right? It's just because it's such a deep thing, and I feel so fortunate. I was born in 1970. Dungeons and Dragons was born in 1974, and Dungeons and Dragons is, I actually have a brother, but I feel like Dungeons and Dragons is my second brother, right? Like, it's just, yeah, I don't have a sister, by the way, so I don't really, but I really feel like Dungeons and Dragons is my second brother. Like, he's always there, he's always in my mind, I'm always thinking about him, and I care about him, right? Like, I want him to be fortunate and be well all the time. It's just a strange thing. But I've been thinking about the Dungeons and Dragons world, and it occurred to me, like, just literally in an epiphany, the Dungeons and Dragons world, every Dungeons and Dragons world, every single one except Dark Sun, okay? So you're talking about Faerun, you're talking about Rokugan, you are talking about Dragonlance, very much Dragonlance, right? Greyhawk, every Eberron, right? Wildmount, every major Dungeons and Dragons setting except Dark Sun, okay, has real gods. They're there, right? And not only are these gods there, they are not distant. They have clerics who are right there on the world doing their spells every single day. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, wait, this is so crazy when you think about it in today's modern terms. Because the reality is, I'm an evangelical Christian. I believe in God by faith, right? I will say this. I've been a Christian since I've been 15 years old. So I've been an evangelical Christian for 35 years of my life. I've reached a point where I really truly know in my heart that God is real, because I've just seen too many things, that in my own life, protection over my family, blessings, all kinds of things. So God is very real to me. But I don't go to people and go, you need to believe in God, based on the truth I've experienced. I understand. I believe in God based on faith, right? But I was thinking about it, and like in every Dungeons and Dragons setting that you play in, they don't believe by faith, right? If you don't believe in God, you are the crazy person, right? You're the one who believes in something that is hard to prove, right? Like, the gods are real in every single major Dungeons and Dragons setting. It's incredible. It's an absolutely incredible statement, right? Because in those worlds, they do not believe in gods by faith. They believe in gods based on evidence, which they see every single day, right? And that is a fundamental difference in the Dungeons and Dragons world. It is shockingly different, right? It's hard to explain to you how different that makes the Dungeons and Dragons worlds, right? And it is incredibly alien in today's modern society, right? Because increasingly the nuns are winning, the None, people who have no faith. When it comes to faith, they have none, right? And where we've landed in this world is that religious people are falling back in numbers, and irreligious people are going forward in numbers. But also, tell me if I'm wrong here, not everybody's happy. Not the nuns and not the sacreds, right? So basically, the secular or the sacreds, or I'll just call them the nuns, because that's what they are. And that increasingly is an identifiable term that's used in every major news outlet, right? So the nuns and the sacreds, It's a very real division of the world now, right? And the reality is we've arrived in this point where the nuns are winning, the sacreds are falling back. It's pretty rare to believe in God anymore. I'm definitely in a situation where I have, I definitely understand how unusual my faith is in today's world, right? And increasingly, when I meet a person, I know that I need to be careful about sharing what I believe, rather than like be super excited about it, because most people, they don't like to hear it. They really don't, right? But so it's just like this incredibly calling thing to me to realize in D&D world, it's flipped, right? Like, if you don't believe in the gods, you're the unusual one. And this is fundamentally different, right? One of the things I think is really interesting too is now that the nuns are winning and the sacreds are falling back, one thing that's becoming a harsh reality in our real world is that the nuns don't replace the sacreds, right? So like if you roll up in any American city, you're going to find a St. Catherine's, right? A St. Peter's, a St. whatever, right? You're going to find a Presbyterian XYZ, and it's going to be a utility, a hospital, right? Some kind of boarding home for people who don't have homes. Like, their charity is, there are roots in every American city from centuries of the sacreds doing what they can to help society. Where are the nuns? Doesn't exist, right? Like, here's the atheist hospital to XYZ, don't exist. Atheist board home, don't exist, right? Like, and so one of the things is, I think this is going to be a major issue for Dungeons and Dragons as it goes forward. And I can guarantee you there's discussion about this right now, right? Because the reality is clerics are a load-bearing wall when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. Can't just pull them out. Stuff's going to fall, right? You definitely can't take clerics out. You really can't. And guess what? The whole, clerics, it's just based on your belief in the concept of good. Nah, that don't do nothing, right? Like, deity. Now, I will say this. They're trying in 5th edition to pull that root out, right? You know how you can tell? There's no legends and lore. There's no D&D deities and demigods in 5th edition. And if I could bet my next paycheck, I would. Because I know there'll never be a deities and demigods in 5th edition. Not one. Right? And there was in 1st and 2nd. Was there deities and demigods in 3rd? I think they might have pulled it out even as late as 3rd edition. I don't know if there was a deities and demigods in 3rd edition. And there definitely wasn't one in 4th or 5th. Right? And I think they're going to try to pull the cleric out. It's going to be very hard. Very hard. And actually, this is exactly like real life. It's hard pulling the sacreds out because they did so much. That's the issue, right? Everybody's like, we don't like XYZ little problems that come with the sacreds. There's a lot of good stuff that came with us too, right? Like, and that's the issue, is when we get rooted up, the other side of it, where now that you won, you got to pick up the slack. Slack ain't getting picked up. That's the issue, right? And D&D is going to need to deal with this very real world issue in the middle of their game. I'll be curious how they do it. I'm hoping that they leave Cleric in for 6th edition. I think Cleric will survive for 6th edition because I don't think they have any... I do think the design team for D&D 5th edition would love to pull the Cleric out. But it's so fundamental. It's literally one of the core 4. I don't think you can do it. Right, which I'm happy about. But I'm curious, do you think the design team wants to keep the cleric in for 6th edition? I guarantee they want to take him out. But there's just no way to do it because it's such a load-bearing wall in Dungeons & Dragons. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think I'm right that the cleric and the deities in every major D&D setting is a very real weird problem for WotC, Hasbro, and the Dungeons & Dragons design team? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.